Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Lee Judges TV. We've got a nice little show today. Look, listen, I know there's loads of things going on in a minute and it's mad and all that, but we'll get into a bit of what's been going on today. But before we do that, obviously, you know the thing that I do with Beck Victor. This is a clip about who's had the most successful transfer window. And I think it's a good debate and we'll have a little chat about it in a moment, But let's see the clip first and then we'll talk about it afterwards.
And Richarlison for 60 mil.
He's rubbish.
52.2.
He's absolutely pathetic.
He's terrible. He's got.
So, Paige, this is
he's got a lower.
You can't bring in your agenda about Richarlison into this conversation.
I've got no agenda about him other than I've watched him really closely over the last few years and he doesn't score many goals. That's the big thing. Tottenham are trying to breach a gap that's absolutely massive to Liverpool and Manchester City. And if you're putting Liverpool in standing still because Nunes hasn't done anything yet, you've got 6 players that haven't done anything yet. So therefore, by that logic, your own logic, Spurs have to be standing still.
Yeah. I agree.
No, that's mental.
Well, this is what you've just done to Liverpool. So by same logic, you've got 6 players that aren't integrated into the side that you've got no idea if going to actually improve you or not. You've brought a 32-year-old Perisic who was really good a couple of years ago. And you've brought Richarlison. You brought Richarlison, who's a myth of a striker. That's all he is. He's useless, mate.
Listen, I understand that fundamentally this show is, it's not necessarily about saying the right thing and getting to the truth. But what you're saying is crazy. Spurs have definitely improved. Not only is it solid business, it's winning the window, in my opinion.
How are we doing, people? Hope you're all well. Welcome back to the show. We're going to talk about that in a minute because I think that was a really good debate, and I actually saw that this morning before it was shown on here, and I thought it was a great debate. Couple of things before we mention anything further, Lee. First of all, the most important news of today, the very sad news, of course. Passing of Terry Neill, a guy that you probably know more than me, Lee, but very, very sad news, Lee Judges.
Yeah, really sad. I heard that he weren't well a little while ago, and listen, fond memories of Tony because it was in that era of him being my first manager, following Arsenal. Obviously won the FA Cup in '79 with that magnificent Man United Arsenal game 3-2. Obviously, the loss of Liam Brady, I think, like losing him to Juventus, I think put a lot of pressure on Terry Neill over the next couple of years. Had a real couple of barren years after that, and then obviously couldn't really pick it up after that. Signed Charlie Nicholas, I thank him for that. And in the end, it ended in tears. But I think you have to look back that he played for Arsenal, captained Arsenal, and then went on to manage them. Of course, had a little spell at Spurs, relegated Spurs, so he done a good job there. Or I don't know if I think he didn't relegate him. It was the season before, but they just got out relegation from when he'd done. I think, but they was always looking that way. He sort of pushed them down there, and of course took Willie Young from Tottenham to Arsenal as well. Very, very sad day. 8 years of age, and fond memories. Of course, we didn't have great times under Terry Neill. We had good times and bad times. It was a strange one, really. But fond memories because. It was under Terry Neill that I started really falling in love and supporting Arsenal, with those great players and that great midfield of Talbot, Price, Ricks, and of course the legend that is Liam Brady, Frank Stapleton up front, Alan Sunderland. It was a quality team. David O'Leary, Willie Young, name them all. Nelson, Pat Rice, got to name them all, and Super Pat Jennings in the goal, of course, who played for Spurs as well. So a great team. Unfortunately, sad news today that he's passed away. So now that him and Donnell were the two that obviously we lost Don a few years ago, but there was a great time to be supporting Arsenal football at that time. Even though Arsenal weren't the greatest team in the world then, let's have it right. It weren't very, very good times. John Hawley and. I think someone called Ray Henkin up front. If they score 4 goals between them, well, I'll go along with that. Then we signed Lee Chapman. It was a bloody nightmare a couple of years. I've got to say that at the end. But Yeah, fond memories of Terry Neill, and will always be remembered for that magnificent FA Cup win against Man United.
Absolutely, and you're right. 82, 83, from what I'm being told, was before my time, but it was not good. And I think that the time that Arteta was kind of taking us through a bit of a bad spell when he first came, and we were losing those games, and people were questioning this is the lowest of the low. A lot of people were saying, "Oh no, it has been worse." And to be fair, he will always be remembered as a legend. He'll always be remembered as the good of Arsenal, and it was quite sad to hear that news today. You always get a rumour, don't you, that it's happened, and a few text messages come my way, and then it got confirmed not long after that. So, of course, rest in peace and condolences to family and friends, Terry Neill. The second thing I want to bring up before everybody, before we go into the next part of the show, Lee, is, of course, there's news that's come out in the last hour of one of our players yet again doing the rounds on Twitter. My phone's been going mad, everybody in the chat going mad, and all expecting us to talk about it. And we're not going to, because I don't like talking about stuff I know nothing about, Lee. The idea of a podcast is to come on and give your opinions about stuff that you believe you know, and I don't know anything about the rumours of what's happening in the world of that player of Arsenal. So again, like it was broken a few weeks ago and we didn't mention anything, I'm not going to be mentioning anything about it. Is that fair to say, Lee?
Yeah, we sort of agreed on that. Like, you know what I mean? We don't really know what's going on and everything like that. It's obviously going mad at the moment. And we'll have to wait and see what happens, if there's truth in it or not. Like, you know, at this moment in time, you're innocent until proven guilty. And at this moment in time, I'm not really paying too much attention to it. At this moment in time, what will, if things come out and then it is true, then it's a different matter. But at this moment in time, it's rumours going all on Twitter at the moment, all over social media. We'll have to wait and see if Arsenal respond to it in the next 24 hours. If they do, we'll be on it. We'll have a little thing. I know that I'm at a wedding tomorrow, and you're doing things on that. But if we can jump on, I'll see if I can get Dave to jump on at some stage. If something does break, we're trying to cover it as best we can. If not, maybe Saturday or something. We'll look to do it, or on definitely if not on the Saturday, on the Sunday. It'd be very interesting to see if on the Sunday.
Well, we've got a Sunday show because we're going to be covering what happened at the Emirates Cup. So hopefully on Sunday we can bring you a little bit more news if it does get broken. But all I hope is that Arsenal have got the right people involved on this, because it's not looking very good either way at the moment. So let's see what happens. Lee, what I do want to talk about is that little clip there, because I thought it was really good. I enjoyed it. I do watch that, and I think everybody should check it out. And the reason I like it is because I think it's quite interesting to see what everyone else is doing. And something I've learned, do you know what I mean? Something I've learned on my channel is that obviously now I'm doing not just Arsenal content, I'm getting other people, other fans on. I've done a show today with a West Ham fan, as you all know, Lawless, and an Everton fan, Neill Vaughan, and we were talking about their windows, and it's really interesting to get their kind of the passion and the optimism and pessimism of both the fan base in terms of their transfer window. And I think what that clip did was just sum it up for me, really. Now, I'm going to ask you this. In your opinion, and I know you've watched this, but in your opinion, who's had the best transfer window for you so far, mate?
It's a very, very good question, and what I like, one good thing about what I like about this show and what we do over there at Betfix. So if you've not followed it, go and have a follow it and subscribe and all that. It gives you an outlook of what other teams are thinking about your team, and I think sometimes we can get blinkered about what's going on, and after watching that and thinking about it, like, you know, I think I'll come up to the conclusion that Arsenal have had a very, very good transfer window at the moment. So have Tottenham. I think Tottenham probably shading it because of more numbers in. Nothing about quality and all that. I think that they've improved a couple of areas to their side that we have as well. We've actually, I think, improved our team with a loan signing that was ours for a few seasons. So, but ultimately, I think that because they've got a few numbers in there, I think that they would probably say that that's the better one. Like, you know, I think if we'd have signed a midfield player by now, I think we'd have won it hands down. I'll be honest. I think like the Jesus one's a big thing for me. More than impressed with him. But ultimately, you know, Shinchenko's a good signing as well. But I really think like we need another midfield player before I actually say it's that we've won it or whatever, or they've won it. But I think at this moment in time, Tottenham just shading it because I just think that they've signed in more in numbers. When people turn around to me, Dan, and try and defend some of the things at Arsenal by going, oh, well, you can't sign 6 players. That can never be done. You know what I mean? They've signed 6 players plus a couple in the transfer window before. When we signed them.
Never understand that.
No.
Can't sign 6 players. How many did we sign last summer? 6. What are they talking about?
Yeah. So, like, it does happen, like, you know what I mean? So I don't say that. And before anybody goes in the chat, I don't know where all this 70 lark's coming from, like, do you know what I mean? Like, you bang out of all the lads, 72 and 70, like, you know what I mean? I've seen it. I'm not happy.
Listen, moving swiftly on from that, I'm going to disagree with you that Tottenham have the best window. I think they're up there, mate. I can't lie. I think they're probably in second place in my hierarchy. I think Man City have had the best, mate. The minute they signed Haaland, they've had a 10 out of 10 window for me because he's going to win them the league comfortably and maybe winning them Champions League finally. I really rate this player so highly. Scoring in pre-season, for me, he's got everything that Manchester City have lacked since Aguero's left and more. And I think this player is going to be ridiculously good. They've also signed, or are going to sign, Cucurella to replace Zinchenko, who I think has been one of the most consistent left-backs in the league outside of the top 6. They've also signed Calvin Phillips to replace Fernandinho, and they're looking to sign a winger to replace Raheem Sterling, who I'm being told is probably going to be Moussa Diaby from Bayer Leverkusen, who's we were rated with, but we're told we've got to pay over 100 million. So if they go and get somebody like that, for me, they've won it hands down. I will say about Spurs, a lot of people are laughing, oh, what a horrible window. If that was Arsenal's window, that would be shocking. No one wants that. It's not Arsenal's window because Arsenal and Spurs need different things. Conte is trying to win now. He's not trying to win in 5 years. So Conte goes and gets players like Perisic. Now, the only player I think they've got that might need time to settle in is Jed Spence. All the other players are either Premier League proven or they're going to come in and do a job, and they haven't stopped yet. You know, they're still linked with Maddison, and they're still linked with creative midfielders. They're still linked with another centre back, which I believe they'll probably get. Ndika is the latest, who's obviously over in Germany playing very, very well. So I think they've had a very good transfer window. I don't think it's as good as Man City's, but I think Spurs are up there. And after that, it's pretty closely. I can't lie to you. I think Liverpool are the ones that have probably done the next best business. I think Darwin Núñez is a really good striker, and I think he will do well. Already people doubting him, and he went and scored 4 the other night in their first friendly of his first game. So he knows where the goal is, trust me. And Carvalho, again, is going to be a good signing for Fulham. He's very highly rated, and they've signed another right-back to replace Nico Williams, who's gone to Nottingham Forest. So I think Liverpool are up there also. And I have to say this, Lee, I think Arsenal are up there as well, by the way. Don't get me wrong. I think we're a couple of players short still to be catching up with the rest. But I will say this, Lee, I think West Ham have done all right, you know.
I think
they're gonna come good, mate. They look like they're gonna get Kostic, who'd be a good replacement on the left hand side. They've got Flynn Downs in, who's going to be replaced Mark Noble. They've got Scamacher up top now, which means they finally bought a striker, and they're also linked with wingers. So I think it could be a really good window for West Ham. And watch this space, because they're, for me, the favourites to win the Europa Conference League currently as it stands. Because I look at the teams that are in it and think if they can get to a semi-final with that team and they add to it, they could quite easily win trophy, and that would be good for West Ham fans. Not that I want them to, but there we go. So that's what I think when it comes to the transfer window. I think with Arsenal, we know people have said it's an 8 out of 10 window, it's a 9 out of 10 window. I just think, hang on a minute, let's slow down. It ain't that good yet. Do you know what I mean? It could be. Let's hope so. I mean, if we're saying it's 8 and 9, so I'll be really happy by the end of it. But I do believe personally there's a little bit more to do before we start going to 7, 8s or 9s at the moment for Arsenal. I think Jesus and Zinchenko are brilliant, and then the rest of them are just unproven at the moment. So we've still got a little bit of work to do, man, before we start getting too excited. Would you agree, Lee?
Yeah, I do agree. I don't think it's been a bad window for us at this moment in time. You know, Tottenham, I wouldn't want Perisic at our club, if I'll be honest. The one that I would have took is Bissouma. I would love to have had him there. And you did right what you're saying. All the other players that they've got, you know, I think Spence is a very, very good player. But, you know, for 20 million, is that a priority for us? No. So, you know, they've gone in with players that they've wanted. But we need that sort of... If we'd have signed Bissouma or somebody like that, of that ilk now, like, you know, then I would be going, you know, we're up there. We're up there. But I do think the Jesus one is good for me. Like I think Man City, if they were to sign the left back, they'd have had a very, very good window, as you said. They brought in Phillips and they brought in Haaland. The only question I would say about Haaland, we talked about this earlier on today, is that he's had a few injuries towards the latter part of Dortmund, and if he stays injury free, then it's a wonderful signing for him, and we all know that. You know what I mean? He's a beast, simple as that. And he's gonna take some stopping, if I'll be honest. You know what I mean? So I think that they've had they've been very, very shrewd what they've done, Dan. If I'll be honest, they've got rid of a few players. And I'll tell you what Man City have done, and they're actually respecting the transfer window at this moment in this moment in time. They've, like the fair play thing, they've got rid of players off their books and bring in players. They're going to have to do that, where other teams around Europe are certainly not doing that. I think that they've had their fingers burnt a little bit, Manchester City, in the past. Little warnings here and there. So they're sort of like balancing the books, which is nice to see. But I'm hoping I'm hoping that Arsenal can still do one or two more, as you say. Tottenham are still interested in a few, and I agree with the one of West Ham. I think West Ham was always a good 11. Good 11 with and a good experienced manager, and done really well. I'll never understand it for when I talk to West Ham fans, why they never got no one in January. It cost them dearly for that Europa League. It was a real. I don't know what I can say. I just can't believe. I know we go on about what we didn't buy anybody, but for them it was carnage. You know what I mean? If they would have brought in a couple of players, you look at the Europa League and what happened with the Rangers game and everything. They should have gone. They should have won it. They was in a position to go on and win it, but they just lacked players in the end and energy. I just was worried about that. So they've addressed it now. We'll have to wait and see. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens. Obviously, with what all the rumours are going on now, if Arsenal may have to be going into the transfer window significantly with not one but two midfield players. We'll have to wait and see. I
think we need two anyway, Lee. I can't lie.
Yeah,
I think if we we've got
to do it now. We've got to do it.
If we get Tielemans and a holding midfielder, I think is what we need anyway. So let's see what we do in the coming weeks, and let's see what everyone else does in the coming weeks, because it's not just us. It'll be interesting to see what everyone else does, won't it? Because I still think Chelsea and Man United have had a bad window so far. I mean, Sterling and Koulibaly are very good, but they've got a lot of work to do, Chelsea, when you go through their 11. Manchester United, likewise. I don't look at Martinez for 60 million and think, wow, great business. I look at that and think unproven in the Premier League and could be a risk. So we'll see what happens. It'll be very interesting.
They're like us, aren't they? Not interested in midfield. They've not addressed it.
Yeah, no, 100%. So let's see what happens. Lee, we're going to touch quickly on the KSI and the Logan Paul PR that we saw today. It was hydration, mate. Prime is now going to be available, as well as Camden Hills. Crikey, could we not just get some normal drinks at the Emirates, please? Would be nice. Camden Hills I can't drink because it tastes like Dettol and it's about £7. And I don't think I'll be touching this stuff either. What do you make of this, Lee?
No, I certainly won't be touching this stuff, you know what I mean? And as for the beer, you know what I mean? I'll be bringing him a flask, I think, of coffee or something like that, because or drinking a Diet Coke. The beer at the Emirates is crap. I'm going to say it now. I don't like it.
It's rank, innit? It's disgusting, innit?
I'm not a lover of it, you know what I mean? I used to enjoy it when it was a Heineken. Not Heineken, it was a Carlsberg, wasn't it?
Carlsberg.
Yeah, and it was a nice bottle of beer, that. You know what I mean? The bottles I have now, rank. I don't. It's got a funny taste to it. I'm sorry, but.
I think I'm not a lover of cider, but I'd rather drink cider than that stuff. I
don't know if they do cider. Do they do that up there or not? I don't know.
Yeah, they do it now. Yeah, they do. So, I don't know what it's going to be next season, though, do we? I believe it's probably going to go up again, Lee, if I'm honest. I wouldn't surprise if it's near £7, like £7 something, if I'm honest. The beer now, it's absolute mad. So, very interesting.
This now, I've got to be really honest.
Go on.
The beer around all the Emirates, all the pubs and all that, ain't the greatest, is it?
As in the pubs, like the Tolly and the Pins and all that?
Not like it's not like...
What's your favourite beer, Lee? That's the one. What's your favourite pint?
I like an Amstel. You know what I mean? If I'll be honest, but I don't mind a Peroni or whatever. But it's not quite the same as
Peroni is mine. Peroni and Kronenbourg, I like them.
it's not great though in the bar. You know, you can't look at. I've not been into a pub around the Emirates and gone, "Oh, that's a good pint." If anybody can tell me, like, you know, what I mean, where you get a good pub from, a good pint in a pub around the Arsenal, I'd be very interested. But you know, I'm not saying that it's ranked, but I just think, you know, it's all right. Do you know what? Do you agree with me?
Listen, I'm not one to disagree with that. I've always found that I could drink the pints in there, but I'm not really a lover of any particular beer. I don't like Carling. I think that's disgusting, and I don't like what's happening here. I don't like something's going on. Can you hear me all right, Lee? Yeah, and I'm not a fan of the old Camden Ales. But listen, this is the new drink now. I don't have a clue what it is. I can't lie, but we're going to find out. Apparently, it's being sold at the weekend at the Emirates Cup, so that's something that will be sold. God knows how much it'll be. Probably be about a £5 for a bottle of it, whatever it is. But there we go. I might. Are you one of these people, Lee, who has to try these sort of things out? Go, I just need to know what it is. Or are you just going to not bother?
No, I'm not going to bother. What is it? Why do you want a hydro? Why do you want a hydro drink or whatever? Like, you're not playing the game, are you? You know, I'm not a player. You know what I mean? Like, I do like the hydro drinks before I play like the Vets game or something like that. They are good. You know what I mean? I'm not going to lie. And I do indulge in a couple of them before I play, but I'm not going to go and, you know what I mean, like, have it before a game at football. Like,
well, Dave's telling me apparently it tastes better than Lucozade and Gatorade, so there we go.
Well, what
do you like either of them?
What does Dave know? He eats sushi, you know what I mean? I'm not having that. So, I don't know. Someone's saying in the thing it's about £1.50 in the shops, and they see how much it is at the Arsenal. You know what I mean? So that's going up there, like, you know. So £2 a bottle in the store, someone's saying. So listen, they do some nice. The ones that I ever, you know, are from Tesco's, and they're nice. You know what I mean? And but they do what they do for football, aren't they? Like, you know what I mean? To give you a bit of energy during the game. Why would you want to be doing this in there? You know,
the fans need it. Bizarre, isn't it?
Yeah, it's bizarre, really. Like, you know, and as I say. They might need it after the, you know, I might put it in my pint, might give it a bit of a boost, you know what I mean? Saying like, you know.
Maybe you can put it, maybe stick it in your Colesburg, no, it's your Camden Ales, and see what it does to that.
It might turn into a like Amstel or something, like, you know what I mean? So, but like some people are saying it's good this prime, you know what I mean? Listen, if they're sponsoring the Arsenal, I might have one when I get back playing football to just see what it's like, but we'll have to wait and see. But for me, you know, like someone saying, like Mad Max saying it's good with vodka. Well, like, you know, maybe like that could be another drink up there and all that. Like, you know, is it any good with champagne? Can someone tell me that? Like, you know, so. Oh
God! Until you've been in hospitality too long, mate.
Oh, no.
You really can. Listen, next 20 minutes or so, we're going to talk about Gabriel Jesus and the striker situation at Arsenal, a little bit on Eddie Nketiah, and if we think we still need more, because it's something we kind of touched on last stream, and I thought we ended it quite well, and I thought maybe we could go into a segue this section and talk a little bit about strikers at Arsenal of old and what perhaps we think profile-wise we're still missing in the squad. I think it's important to say that in the squad, because I think Gabriel Jesus is our number 9, and I'm happy with that. My problem is, Lee, if he does get a knock. Now, Eddie Nketiah proved that in the last 8 games that he played, he can score goals. 5 goals for Eddie, working hard, definitely improved from what I've seen in pre-season in terms of his strength, developed with his turn on the ball. I think he definitely knows how to take on a player now, and it's good signs from pre-season. But, and there is a but, as there always is with me, people have a go at me in the chat now, I think there is a need still for an Olivier Giroud type centre forward that we can bring on as a plan B, bit of an aerial threat, bit of a target man, someone who can hold the ball up, link up play, that type of stuff. And I want to get your opinion on it, Lee, because I do believe that there's a need for it. And with the 5 subs and the World Cup and the need for 4 competitions, we're going to need a squad. And I do think that if we were struggling and Jesus was not cutting the mustard for whatever reason, or he got a knock and Eddie was playing and Eddie's not cutting it, we need someone with a different style to their game up top. And I think Eddie and Jesus are a little bit similar in their style. They're not similar in their quality, but they're similar in their style. And I think from last season even, Lacazette and Eddie, there's no height in that box, was there? Tierney crossing it, Tomiyasu crossing it, even Cedric when he was playing crossing it. No one's in there. So for me, Lee, I think there's a need for it. But I wanted to get your opinion, mate.
Yeah, I do think there's a need for it. I think, like, if you look at Liverpool and Man City, they've changed up this season, haven't they, by bringing in that sort of player, because I think they play all that good little intricate football. And basically, like, teams like, even Arsenal done it for against Man City and were saying, all right, we'll let you have the ball out wide and put crosses in, like, and defend that sort of way. It nearly worked. Tottenham done it and it works against Man City. So they've both sort of looked at that and changed it. And it's interesting that both teams have sort of changed that at this moment in time. And probably will go a little bit like that. But the thing is with Liverpool, they always had it with, I can't think of his name now, the one that's just left, scored in the Champions League final, always scored against Everton.
Champions League, scored in the Champions League final.
Yeah.
Someone will say it in the chat. I'm completely lost as well.
Completely gone out of my head, like, you know what I mean? What's his name? Well, he's just left. I think he's gone. I don't know where. I think he's gone to AC Milan now. Origi, that's it.
Origi.
Well done, Lynn. They had that little option what they could use, couldn't they? Like with Origi. So I that's the sort of player that Arsenal need. Someone that is not going to play all the time, but will come on and just change it up a little bit, like, So I'm with you on this. I think that we do need someone like that, someone that can come. Now, I heard that, people saying in the chat, someone like Tony, we're not going to get 30, 40, 50 million pound player to come and sit on the bench, Dan. This is where it's going to be difficult, where we go down this route for it all. Because if you was, I don't know, say if you're a Tony at Brentford, like, you're guaranteed playing every week, and the conversation is going to be, where am I going to play? Well, you're going to be back up to Jesus. Well, all right, I'm not quite happy about that. So it's going to be difficult to get someone there. So you might have to be looking for someone that's coming to the end of their career that knows that they can come on for 20, 25 minutes and do the business. So it's a difficult one to do. Like,
Ask you a question. If we were bringing somebody on with 15 minutes to go, and your options from the bench next season, or this season coming, should I say, are Eddie Nketiah or Olivier Giroud, who would you bring on?
Giroud, without that.
That says it all to me. That says it all to me. And
because you need something different up there, like, You need someone that's going to, last 15, 20 minutes. You're going to need someone that's just, sometimes just throw the ball into the box, gets an header down or something like that, and your Jesus's and your Eddies are on the knockdowns and all that. I do think it is a problem for us. We're not saying Giroud, by the way. We're talking to someone of that ilk. But to get someone,
of course, I think Giroud's done, isn't he? I don't even know where he's playing. Has he still at Milan?
I think he's at Milan. He's done really well at Milan. They've gone and won the league there, like, you know what I mean. So, listen, people knock Giroud. He's gone on. I think where he's gone to AC Milan and won things. He's gone to Chelsea and he's won trophies there, like, you know what I mean. So
we won the World Cup, the Europa League, and the Champions League, and now Serie A. It's mad, isn't it? Since he's left Arsenal,
he's done okay, hasn't he? He's done okay, like, you know what I mean? So
class, mate.
So we'll have to see what we're going to go down that route for, like, So it'll be interesting. The transfer window is going to be very interesting for us in the next week or so. Now, I think that's evident. But I'm with you on this one. Look, Jesus, for me, is a game changer of a player. And people are going, "Oh, it's only pre-season and all that." I don't care about pre-season. What I've seen of him at the moment, he looks like the player that's sort of going to change things for us. You know what I mean? He looks good. You know what I mean? Like, because it's pre-season, he's not going to score a goal or do what he's doing. What he's doing in pre-season, he'd do in the Premier League. Bring it to the Premier League. There's no two ways about that, like, So we'll wait and see what happens there, like, But for me, I think he's going to be a real. He gives us that little edge, and I'll tell you what else he does for us. If we get chances, he's going to take them. I was saying this on the show earlier on today. he's even when he shoots, he gets it on target. Then you know what I mean. So I do think that he's going to be a good player for us. Like, but he's getting that backup sort of player in there, and I think that's going to be difficult. Look, Tottenham have had a real problem getting somebody in to come alongside Harry Kane, because the question is, I'll come to you, but where am I going to play? We're going to be back up to Harry Kane. So it's very difficult for them to do that, So it'd be interesting to see if we do go in it, and if there is somebody available. I like what Eddie said in the interview. If something comes up, we're going to need to be up for it. So there might be somebody out there that they're probably not even looking at the moment, and it might come up, and we can go in there. So we'll have to wait and see on that one, really.
Yeah, we really will. I want to talk to you a little bit about some rumours. It's quite a strange rumour, this one, that keeps doing the rounds, but not really one that I think is going to happen. There's a couple. Leroy Sané is one of them. I think that one is just not going to happen, Lee. I don't know why. Maybe it's because he wants too much. Maybe he's going to demand too much wages, and that's not really what we do at Arsenal anymore, is put people on low wages. On high wages. I do worry about his injuries, if I'm honest, because he's not a player that's ever been fit for Man City and for Bayern Munich for more than a few games, and I think we've got enough players like that. But it would excite me if he was, because he's devastating when he's fit at times. I think what he does is great down that left-hand side. But I wanted to get your thoughts on him and whether you think there's a realistic opportunity to sign him.
Yeah, listen, I've got a feeling that he may go. I don't think it's all security by him with what's going on there and everything like that. So there could be something in it. I don't know, say like him going to Arsenal but moving away. And I think you're dead right. For the numbers and prices that they're talking about at the moment, it's a no-go. But if I was, and I think more so is what you just said, like the injury concerns, But if it was become down in the deal a little bit lower, then maybe that would be something that we could look about. I wouldn't 100% dismiss it, because I'm going to say this now: Jesus and Zinchenko have both come really, not just because of the Arsenal, but a little bit because of it of Mikel Arteta. So there could be something that if they really like him, it could maybe one of the reasons that it could happen. But I think that at this moment in time, everybody's sort of looking at it and trying to put 2 and 2 together, and it's coming up 5. That, as far as I'm concerned, do you know what I'm saying? So
100%.
But I wouldn't be surprised if he moved at some. But whether it be to the Arsenal, I'm not so sure.
Yeah, no, I think it's fair, to be honest. Brady's Bananas just put in a really good point, actually. Says that if Eddie has anything about him, he will improve training with Jesus daily. But he says we still need. He says we still need a smudger type as a third option. Yeah, that's a good shout.
Someone like that, we definitely need that, you know what I mean? So someone of that ilk.
No, fair play.
We've always had them, Dan, you know what I mean? We've always had those sort of players.
We have, haven't we? We have. Over the years,
Paul
we've always had
Mariner,
someone.
over the years, Frank Stapleton, you can go through. We've always had that big centre forward, and I think that we do need that, Giroud, you know what I mean? Giroud got a hard deal because he was replacing Van Persie, wasn't he? Like, you know what I mean? It was always a difficult thing, like, Eddie Boyle was another one that give us that little bit of a power up front. I would like to see someone come in. I like that. I would. I'll be honest.
Yeah, absolutely.
Dave just come up with a good point there. Jesus, I'm going to say, has scored more headed goals than Abraham. So, he does get on the end of things. So that's a good point. So we'll have to wait and see.
Oh, listen, he'll score headers 100%. But when he's injured, is my point of we need a different dimension centre forward. And I think the reason he scored more than Abraham, Isak and Osimhen is because they're younger than him and they've had 2 years. He's had 6 years, Jesus. So that's obvious, isn't it?
Andy Carroll's being mentioned.
Andy Carroll, Peter Crouch I saw earlier as well.
Ben Secchi's being mentioned.
I
think I see someone else there. Was it Ben Secchi? Was it Wood?
Ben Secchi or Chris Wood? Yeah. Do you know what? Actually, the one I would have gone for, and this is one that I'll put to you, mate. Luka Jovic went to Fiorentina on a free transfer.
Yeah,
we should have been all over that, in my opinion.
Well, I would have been all over that. I would have been all over that one. Like, you know what I mean? Someone took a gamble on that, especially when you got Jesus. Yeah, I would have gone for that. But my problem being that, you know, would he have? He's been like wanting probably regular football. I don't. The person that's coming in is not going to get regular football. You know what I mean? Like, even if you like, Schumacher or whatever his name is from now from West Ham, he actually come and said one of the main reasons that I want to come because I'm going to be playing. You know, and I'm not saying they're going to, you know, you can't guarantee you're going to be playing, but he's looked at it, you know, he's going to be the main striker there, like, you know what I mean? So we'll have to wait and see, you know, if they do go there. But, you know, like people are saying that, you know, like Jovic hasn't scored that many goals with his head. So, you know.
No, Jovic hasn't been playing for 3 years because he's been sat on the bench at Real Madrid because he can't get ahead of Benzema. Remember at Frankfurt, he was quality.
He was quality. Do you remember that game that he ripped Chelsea apart?
Proper.
Apart. No, they actually went out in the end, but they nearly got through, and it was down to him. He was absolutely outstanding that day. So,
he really was. He was.
Yeah, we'll have to wait.
Listen,
and see on
that. One player I want to mention, lastly, is a player that I think we have got no chance of getting. But the reason I bring it up is because I mentioned I was chatting to Dan Lawless today, West Ham, and it's a player I'd love. He plays right wing and centre forward.
I've heard this rumour.
Now, Jared Bowen has been mentioned. Now, surely that's not going to happen. That is going to cost us a ridiculous amount of money. They're not going to sell him because there's no need to. He's under contract. I don't think he's that unhappy. There were rumours, apparently, that he was looking at Liverpool last summer, I think, maybe even January, which proves to me that he wants to go win something. He doesn't want to come and, you know, try and get into the Champions League. He wants to go and win something if he's going to leave West Ham. But could be wrong. He could be happy at West Ham. I don't know. But do you see any truth in this one, judges?
No. Like, yeah, I mean, too dear. If he was with a year left of his contract, you know, maybe like, you know, I'll go. But it's too expensive, and I think there's better options out there for Arsenal financially. Like, for instance, you know, if you're going to be spending 70 million on them, you might as well go for a Sane, or you might as well go for a Gnabry. Zaha would come in front of him. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, but you know, for 70 million, where's he going to play regular? Like, you know what I mean? He's not going to take, you know, he's not going to take Saka's place, and you know,
Saka will go left, won't he, and Bowen will go right. That's what.
And I'm thinking, well, you know, for 70 million, then you're taking out Martinelli. You know what I mean? So I wouldn't want to be doing that. So it's a difficult one, like, you know what I mean. So, but I do rate Bowen. People are saying in the chat don't rate him.
I like him. Yeah, I like him.
I do like him. But listen, for 70 million, you know, it's not going to happen. No, it's not going to happen. Even though
fair enough, I'm with you. Yeah, no, fair enough. I'm with you. A couple of people actually mentioned in the chat saying that someone messaged me earlier and said, "Why are we not looking at some of the players that had gone down that were good on the right wing?" Maxwell Cornet from Burnley was mentioned. Ismail Sarr from Watford was mentioned as well. But I can't see those happening, if I'm honest with you. And although they're probably better than what we've got as a
backup. Made a good little thing today. You know, I quite rated him. I liked him. You know,
see, I'm going to talk to you about this because just quickly now you've mentioned it. I don't have anything against Dwight McNeil before I go into it massively, but in the 4 years he's been there, he's scored 7 goals. Not for me, mate. It's not for me.
Yeah, but he's playing in a struggling team, and I've liked what I've seen. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
You know,
listen, he has some nice touches. He's got a good little whip of a left foot, and he can put some balls in. Maybe Calvert-Lewin, he'll feed off of those crosses, so it could be a good signing for Everton.
I bet he does well. I'm going to say that it's going to be a good signing.
Do well.
I think
he might do, and you know, hopefully he will. Maybe it was the style of play at Burnley that weren't suiting him, but I don't know. I didn't look at him and go, "Wow." I don't look at that and go, "What a signing!" But Burnley were amazed they got 20 million for him, from what I'm being told. So yeah, I don't think he's been that on form for them for the last few years. So yeah, be interesting to see what happens, mate. This has been a good chat, but I want to finish off by looking at your kind of expectations towards Crystal Palace. Now, it's coming around so quickly, mate. I can't lie. I want to... It's mad, isn't it? I want to get your expectations on the weekend's game and what you expect the sort of line-up to be for the Sevilla game. And then I want to get a kind of expectations of what you're expecting to see in that game leading on to, of course, the Crystal Palace game, mate.
Oh, looking at it, I think it'll be the same team that played last week against Chelsea. I think that that's our strongest team. If I'll be honest, at this moment in time, we've injured Tommy Asu. I think probably will get some sort of minutes if he's back in training. Hopefully, Tierney will get some sort of minutes going because they've got nothing. If not, they're going to have to play games behind closed doors, which does happen, as we know. So to get some sort of minutes for them, but that's what I would say. I'm a little bit more optimistic going into that game, mainly because what I've seen of Jesus. I just think that I think that. He's going to be a handful then. I really do. And I think that will stretch other teams. And then that we'll see what happens there, So I'm actually looking forward to the game now. I think a couple of weeks ago I wasn't. But what I've seen on the tour, and what I see against Chelsea, I'm looking forward to it because I think that we look good against Chelsea. We need to back that up against Seville. Obviously, we know there's things going on in the background at the moment. That could be key now to us because I think that if we go weak in midfield, we're weak in midfield anyway. So we need to be strong in there. So it's going to be an interesting week leading into this game, So we'll see what will happen, and hopefully we get the result. But I think it's going to be a difficult game. One of those grounds you don't look forward to going to. It's not a nice place to go to, Crystal Palace, for lots of reasons. For the players, because it's a hostile atmosphere, and us fans, it's not the greatest place to watch a game of football, if I'll be honest, for a letterbox. But I'm looking forward to it. I think that I think that we'll get a result. But I'm going to hold judgment on that. I'm going to look at the Seville game first, see what happens there. See what happens in the next week. But listen, we don't need we've had a good pre-season, Dan, really. We've had a good pre-season. We don't need the last week for it to come off the rails.
Absolutely, mate. I'm totally with you. And I think the Seville game will be decent. I think they're going to play quite a strong team, if I'm honest with you. The other news, Tavares is looking like he's gone to Marseille on loan. Nuno Tavares show obviously now Tierney and Zinchenko are going to be our left backs, which I think is a huge upgrade. But I think we're going to see a pretty similar team to what we believe they're going to be facing against Palace, and then of course we'll rotate. I believe we'll either start strong or we'll finish strong. I don't know what one it's going to be yet at the weekend, but we'll see what happens. And going into the Palace game, I think we all know what the side's going to be, roughly anyway. And there's still a lot of work to do in relation to outgoings and certainly some incomings as well. One thing to finish the stream on, of course, it's going to be a celebration of the life of Jose Antonio Reyes at the weekend. Seville and Arsenal both contribute from what we hear. Point. And that's going to be really, really nice because I must say, Lee, he was one of my favourite players when we signed him. I absolutely loved watching him. I really did. And he really excited me when we signed him. 21 years old. Everyone wanted him. Real Madrid talking about he's going to be one of the best. And he came to Arsenal and he never really settled in long term. But my God, did he bang when he first come in. I mean, Christ, it was unbelievable. Never forget the 2 goals he scored in the FA Cup at Highbury against Chelsea. Always remember the goal he scored in the 5-3 at Middlesbrough, which kind of turned the game when we went 3-1 down and we were still carried on our continued unbeaten run. Scored a really important goal in the game against Chelsea in the Champions League, which of course we went out on that night with Wayne Bridge, and scored some great goals in the 2005. I think he scored first 6 games. He scored 6 goals. Unbelievable that season there, 2004-05. So a player that I really respected, and absolutely devastating news 3 years ago now when that came to light that he'd had his car crash and sadly passed away. And I think it'll be a great tribute at the weekend for both clubs to remember him.
Yeah, fantastic, because obviously starting in Seville, so it's great that they're going to do that. And one hell of a player. Unfortunately, he just didn't settle at Arsenal and probably come, if I'll be honest, come to England too young, really, but because he didn't really settle at Real Madrid, done well at Atletico, and then obviously went back to Seville and done really, really well there. But breathtaking player, very, very important for our Champions League. Our championship. The Invincibles. I will say this though: when he come to the club, we had Lundberg, we had Perez. No one was saying, "Oh, where's he going to play? Where's he going to do this? Where's he going to do that?" Like, do you know what I mean? Oh, we don't need him. Funny that, you know what I mean? Like, oh, he ain't going to get in here and there. Like, no, we'll have him. Like, and he he helped the squad and become a very, very integral part of the team for a couple of seasons. Unfortunately, he just didn't settle with family and all that, and it's just a tragic way for him, for what happened in the end for him, but what's a left foot? And I'll never forget, all right, a lot of talk about him. He certainly, when he came in that game against Chelsea, I thought, oh my God, what a debut, you know what I mean? And there's been some fantastic debuts of players from Arsenal, but his one is definitely up there as one of the best. And
I must admit, it's one that I will always remember, and a player that I'll always remember. And it was when I'd only been at Highbury the first couple of years, to be honest, for me, because I don't even know how old I was now when he joined, but I was a young teen, Lee. And I remember him coming and really being excited about him, and unfortunately it didn't really happen for him at Arsenal, but still a great career and obviously extremely sad news. Lee, been a pleasure as ever. Thank you to everyone in the chat for listening to us. And
I just want to confirm I wasn't in Brighton in 1998. In 1988, I just want to confirm that. So no worries. I can safely say.
I've just seen it now. He says, Lee, I think you're my dad. Did you date Margaret from Brighton in 1988? Wow. How old were you in 1988, Lee? I was one, just to make you old.
Lovely, you know what I mean? So how old was I then in 88? So
88. Well, the year before 89 when we went to Anfield.
Yeah,
so
21.
You should know that.
21, 22.
I bet you're a nightmare at that age, mate. 21, 22.
Well, you know what I mean.
Was you a good boy? Was you a good boy? Maybe you were. I don't know.
I'm not saying that. You know what I mean. So, I certainly wasn't. I didn't date a Margaret in Brighton.
Dave Jordan's even. He said Lee was in his 40s then.
I've gone right off, Dave. Gone right off him. You know what I mean? Right off him.
Brilliant. Guys, been a pleasure. I hope you've all enjoyed it. We'll be back Sunday night to talk about what's happened at Arsenal Seville, and hopefully we'll be able to give you some more news if it does break. In terms of everything, transfers, and of course the news that's broke the last hour in relation to one of our players. So let's get that sorted at the weekend. Up the Arsenal on Saturday. Hopefully we can win the Emirates Cup, because it feels like we haven't won that for a while, does it? And we will try to win our own competition again, which is always nice when we can do that. Until then, up the Arsenal, and we'll see you on Sunday evening. Take care, guys.